Scorpio, what if December 8th isn't just another date on the calendar, but the moment your story quietly tilts towards something softer, brighter, more aligned with the life your soul has been secretly asking for? What if the reason you're here, right now, reading these words, isn't boredom or coincidence, but a subtle pull from the universe saying, "Pay attention, your lucky day begins here." You didn't stumble into this message by accident. With your kind of energy, nothing that reaches you at this depth is random. This is a soul-level appointment, a meeting between your intuition and the currents moving in your favor. A beautiful shift is forming around you, and December 8th is not the entire story, but it is a doorway, a starting point, a soft, cosmic announcement that the heaviness you've carried is not the only ending available to you. You know better than anyone that life has not been gentle lately. There have been moments, maybe more than you've admitted, where you felt like you were walking through emotional rubble, trying to rebuild your sense of self from pieces that didn't quite fit anymore. You've carried endings in your bones, said goodbye to versions of yourself no one else even knew existed. You've held on when other people would have let go. You've kept your faith in the dark, even when it felt like the light was taking too long. And underneath all of that, there has been a quiet question humming in your chest. When is it my turn? When is something finally going to shift for me? This message is that answer. December 8th is not here to fix everything overnight, but it marks the moment when the energy stops pushing against you and starts moving with you. A lucky day begins not because the universe suddenly likes you more, but because your vibration, your choices, and your healing have brought you into resonance with something kinder. Scorpio energy is ruled by Pluto, the planet of transformation, endings, rebirth, and hidden treasures buried beneath the surface. You don't get the luxury of shallow lessons. You came into this life coded for depth, for truth, for the kind of growth that can't be faked. That's why so much of what you've gone through has felt intense, unfair, or extreme. But now the same intensity that once tore things down is starting to build something up. Imagine the energy in your life like a river that's been blocked by debris, past wounds, broken trust, financial fears, confusion about your purpose, exhaustion in your heart. You've done more inner work than you give yourself credit for, choosing self-respect over chaos, peace over drama, intuition over old patterns. December 8th is the moment when the river feels that blockage begin to loosen. Opportunities that felt delayed begin to move. Conversations you feared having opened new doors instead of closing them. Money you thought was lost finds its way back through unexpected channels. A beautiful shift doesn't always show up as a fireworks display. Sometimes it's that subtle but undeniable sense that things are finally starting to cooperate with your spirit instead of working against it. In love and relationships, this lucky shift can show up as clarity first, then blessing. For some Scorpios, December 8th and the days that follow may bring an important realization. You're done watering connections that never learned how to pour back into you. This doesn't always mean dramatic endings. Sometimes it means a quiet adjustment of your expectations, a gentle but firm line drawn where there used to be endless flexibility. You may see someone's true intentions more clearly, not to punish them but to free yourself from illusions. And here's the gift. As soon as you honor that truth, the energy in your relationships begins to change. People who genuinely care show up more consistently. Communication becomes more honest. You stop chasing and start allowing. A lucky day in love for Scorpio doesn't always look like a brand new person. Sometimes it looks like you finally loving yourself in a way that resets the entire field, so only those in alignment can stay. For others, this shift may bring the gentle resurgence of someone who truly sees you. Not every return from the past is a test. Sometimes it's a reflection of how much you've grown. If someone from your story reaches out around this time, notice how you feel in your body. Do you feel pulled downward, heavy, anxious, or do you feel unexpectedly calm, open, and at peace? Your nervous system will tell you the truth before your mind can come up with a story. December 8th has the energy of emotional recalibration. The universe is not trying to drag you backward, but to give you the chance to choose differently, with more self-worth, with more emotional maturity, with more clarity about what love really feels like when it's safe. Your lucky shift in love isn't just finding someone, it's stepping into a frequency where love that honors you can finally land. On the level of your finances, work, and purpose, this lucky day may appear as a small but meaningful breakthrough. You might receive a message you've been waiting on, a green light on something that was delayed, a new opportunity that fits more closely with who you're becoming. A conversation with a boss, a client, or a collaborator might reveal that your efforts are finally being seen. You might suddenly feel the courage to raise your prices, to ask for better treatment, to move towards something more aligned even if it scares you. For Scorpio, money is rarely just money. It's tied to your sense of power, safety, and self-respect. That's why this shift is less about a lottery ticket and more about a change in the story you tell yourself about what you deserve. December 8th is infused with the energy of subtle but powerful permission. Permission to receive without feeling guilty. Permission to thrive without apologizing for it. Permission to let your gifts actually support you instead of remaining hidden in the dark. If you've been feeling stuck, waiting on a sign to start something new, a project, a side business, a creative path, a move, this is your cosmic reminder that the perfect time is not a date on the calendar. It's a moment of alignment inside you, and that moment is arriving. Around December 8th, you may feel a burst of inspiration, a clear idea that won't let go, or a renewed sense of excitement about something you'd quietly shelved. Instead of dismissing it as fantasy, try treating it as a directive. You don't have to build the entire future in one day, but taking one aligned step, a message, an email, a draft, a plan, a call, creates momentum. A lucky day for Scorpio is rarely passive. It's the moment when the outer luck and the inner courage finally meet. The universe can open the door, but you're the one who walks through it. Emotionally, this shift may feel like the first deep exhale you've had in a long time. The worries that once screamed may start to soften into background noise. The grief that sat like a stone might feel a little lighter, as if someone on the other side of the veil placed their hand on it and said, "You don't have to carry all of this alone anymore." Scorpio carries ancestral weight, karmic patterns, and unspoken family stories in their nervous system. That's why when your energy shifts, it's not just about you, it ripples backward and forward through your lineage. Around this time, you may find yourself healing something your parents or grandparents could never quite name. Choosing healthier love, better boundaries, more honest expression, or a more aligned path is not selfish. It is spiritual work. It is part of the beautiful shift. Pay attention also to the signs and symbols that surround you. Scorpio is deeply intuitive, and your lucky day may be announced through subtle synchronicities rather than loud announcements. Repeating numbers like 808, 1010, 1212, or 1717. Seeing your birthday everywhere. A song that plays at exactly the right moment, with words that hit too close to the truth to ignore. A stranger saying something that feels like it was meant directly for you. Dreams that feel more like visits than fantasies. These are the universe's way of winking at you, of saying, yes, this is real. Yes, something is aligning. Yes, you're being guided. When you notice them, don't brush them off. Acknowledge them in your heart or even out loud. The more you recognize these threads, the more clearly you start to see the tapestry. To work with this energy intentionally, try creating a small ritual around December 8th, or whatever day this message reaches you and feels like your personal lucky day begins now. Light a candle, choose a color that feels like good fortune to you. Gold, deep emerald, royal blue or soft rose. and sit quietly for a few minutes. Place your hand over your heart and ask yourself, what do I truly want this next season of my life to feel like? Not what you think is realistic, not what you think you're allowed to ask for, what your soul actually longs for. Write it down without editing. The kind of relationships you crave, the level of financial stability you desire, the way you want your body and spirit to feel when you wake up, the kind of work or purpose that feels like home. You don't have to share it with anyone. This is a contract between you and your own spirit, witnessed by the universe. Then choose one sentence from what you've written and turn it into an affirmation that feels like oxygen for your future. It might be, I am ready to receive blessings that match my healing. Or, I am worthy of a life that feels peaceful and abundant. Or, I allow love, money, and opportunities to flow to me without struggle. Say it out loud. Whisper it if you need to. Write it in the comments as a way of anchoring it. Not for the algorithm, but for the energetic field we're co-creating. Even a simple phrase like, "My lucky shift begins now," can act as a key that unlocks a new frequency in your life. Words are spells. Scorpio knows that better than anyone. When you speak them with intention, they don't just bounce off the walls. They reprogram the way you move, the way you choose, the way you receive. You may also feel a shift in how you relate to your own power. In the past, you may have feared your strength, worried it would intimidate, disrupt, or push people away. You might have kept your insights to yourself, hiding the sharp clarity you have about situations because you didn't want to be too intense or too much. But your power is not a problem, it's your path. December 8th, and the energy surrounding it bring a new kind of luck. The luck of no longer betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. You're learning to stand in your truth without apology, to let your intuition have a voice in your decisions, and to realize that the right people are not scared off by your depth. They're drawn in by it. That shift alone can change everything. Who you allow close to you, where you place your time and energy, what you say yes or no to. As this energy unfolds, remember that not every day will feel magical, and not every moment will be perfect. A lucky day doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the presence of support, alignment, and unexpected grace within them. There may still be moments of doubt, waves of old fear, echoes of previous disappointments. But the difference now is that your inner compass is more stable. You're less willing to negotiate your value. You're quicker to notice red flags. You're more patient with divine timing, because something in you finally trusts that delay is not denial, it's protection. The beautiful shift isn't about living a life with no storms. It's about finally realizing you're not standing in the rain without shelter. Scorpio, if you felt forgotten, overlooked, or left behind by life, let this message sink deep into the part of you that's still bracing for disappointment. You are not late, and you are not being punished. You are arriving. All of the experiences that broke you open were also shaping the vessel that could hold the kind of blessings you're moving into. The luck that begins around this time is not a random reward. It's a response to the ways you chose growth over bitterness, self-awareness over denial, and compassion over vengeance, even when your heart ached for justice. You may not see the full picture yet, but a new chapter is already being written with your name woven into it in gold. And as we close this message, let these words serve as both blessing and gentle reminder. What you've heard here is not a rigid forecast carved into stone, nor a guarantee that life will unfold in a straight line. Think of this narrative as a mirror held up to your potential, a story woven from archetypes, intuition, and symbolic patterns for a Scorpio soul who feels called to it. It is a reflection of one possible timeline where your healing, your choices, and your courage open the door to luck, blessing, and alignment. If this message resonates with your spirit, if it awakens a quiet yes inside you, take what you need from it and let it guide your next steps. If parts of it do not fit, you're free to let them drift away like clouds across your inner sky, because not every story is meant for every soul, and you remain the author of your own path. This is, at its heart, a spiritual contemplation and an emotional companion, not a substitute for practical decisions, professional advice, or your own inner wisdom. The power has always lived in you, Scorpio. December 8th is simply a doorway where that power at last begins to meet its reflection in the world.